getting onto this Dragon Ball Z comment, well, there has been a kind of the final piece of that story in the Dragon Ball Z thing with Vic Mignogna. And if you guys know, I mean, going back years and years now, Vic Mignogna was a voice actor, did the voiceover dubbings for Dragon Ball Z because it's made in Japan. And there was, he was employed by Funimation, and that's a group who does that. And basically, he was fired and defamed by a couple people he accused, Monica Rial and Ron Toye, and a couple of other people as part of a lawsuit. I know going back a couple of years, this was the lawsuit that I think a lot of you remember if you guys were watching with Nick Rekieta. This was kind of thing that like blew up, and this was the big thing. It was the Weeb Wars. Well, we're at the final stage, and normally we talk about all kinds of lawsuits, and we see tons of lawsuits get filed, but and sometimes they get dismissed, summary judgment, sometimes they settle out. But this one, well, I mean, there was an issue of, well, things weren't done right. And then it got dismissed. But then there was an appeal. And Vic lost the appeal. So now we're at the very end. There's no more appeal to run. There's no more. We're out of road. There's no more exits to take. This is it. And this is what the end looks like in a lawsuit. Especially if it goes all the way to the very, very end. And J-Rock is right. Vic got screwed over by a faulty affidavit. Yeah. And ultimately, I know I'm not going to sit here and shit up one side or down the other. The attorney that was handling it didn't get his stuff done on time and tried to kind of flub some stuff in. And the other side caught that and pointed out that stuff wasn't done right. So the court dismissed it. And then they appealed. Vic Mignogna tried to appeal that, saying, hey, appellate court. And the appellate court's like, no, this was fucked up from the start. We're not changing anything. So, yeah, it was basically because affidavits weren't set. And those would have been enough probably to survive summary judgment. At least probably get them into really good discovery. But, you know, such is life. For want of a horseshoe nail, a kingdom was lost. And it's Victor Mignogna. Oh, wow, that does not. You know, versus Funimation, Monica Rial, Ron Toye, Jamie Marchi. So this is an agreed final judgment. Notice this is agreed, meaning the parties have agreed to this. And the court has considered the parties' request for entry of this agreed final judgment and resolution of the remaining issues concerning attorney's fees in this dispute. As a result, the court finds that the agreed final judgment should be entered, and therefore is ordered, adjudicated, and decreed. Those are the big judge words for saying, I am putting this into effect. And that the defendants, Monica Rial and Ronald Toye, the defendants, shall have recovered from Vic Mignogna, plaintiff, the amount of $270,963.04, representing their reasonable and necessary attorney's fees, which this went on for a long time. And there's a lot in the lawsuit, guys. And here's the thing. You hire an attorney to do a lawsuit. Like, they went to depositions on this. There was a lot of discovery. That's not cheap. This stuff adds up. That's why when, you want to sue somebody or you want to engage in legal warfare, you better have a checkbook ready. Or you better be in a situation where that attorney can go whale hunting and go after that other party for money, because it's a very expensive endeavor. Now, should it be that way? No, but life is what it is. And I are part of that system, so I'm not going to say it's completely wrong anyway. But yes, it is not a poor man's game. So they had reasonable attorney's fees, plus the amount of $15,526.96, representing their litigation expenses in the defense of this matter through November 21st, 2019. Okay. Rial and Toye shall also have and recover from Vic Mignogna, $22,602.93, representing interest accrued on the previous amounts awarded in this matter. And that's the thing. When a court awards judgment and then you appeal it, what they've already been awarded is running. The clock's running on that. The juice is running. So the interest is accruing. So, for example, in the Maya Kowalski trial, all that money that Johns Hopkins Children's Hospital owes her, if they try to appeal this, and let's say the appeal takes 5 or 6 years, guess what's happening in the meantime? The interest is just boop every year. By statutory amount, it's however many percent. Add on, tacked on, tacked on, tacked on. And it's 8% of that, and then 8% of that amount, and then 8% of that amount, or 10% of that amount. Whatever it is, that's added. The juice is running. So, yeah, if you think, oh, I can just appeal and wait out the clock, no, it gets worse. So you better fucking win. Rial and Toyesha also haven't recovered from Vic Mignogna $67,500, representing contingent appellate fees previously awarded in this matter. Yes, so when you win your appeal, costs are assessed to one party or another. And that's the thing, guys. The appeal wasn't very long, but appeals are very, very expensive. They are very specialized areas of work, and they take a lot of effort and time. So, yes, appeals are not cheap. And when you look at that total amount, that's an eye-watering amount of money. I mean, that gives him a grand total of $376,592.93 that he has to pay. That's on him. That is a judgment against him. So that's there. And then it's further ordered, all amounts awarded in this final judgment shall bear post-judgment interest. And like I said, guys, it talks about the interest rates. 18% per annum. 18%. So 18% a year interest. The interest goes up 18%. That's almost 20%. 1/5 of whatever's there. There's interest collecting on that. Well, part of that is to ensure that the other party gets paid. Because what can they do if you don't pay? Well, they can seek judgment against you. And it's from this final date of judgment until the date this final judgment is paid in full. And from what was said on Twitter, it sounds like there have been agreements to sort this out. So if the parties have agreed, then they won't necessarily, like, the court isn't just tacking on the interest, but they have the right to seek that interest. But it sounds like between Vic and these parties, they've worked it out. So whatever they've worked out, he's going to pay. So I don't know. They point out it's further ordered that all writs and processes necessary for enforcement of collection of this judgment and the cost of court may issue as are necessary. So they're pointing out, this is the court saying, if you need writs of enforcement, writs of execution, writs of foreclosure, to seize property, to get your money, you can do that. You will come back and you are entitled to them. All of the relief expressly requested and not expressly granted herein is hereby denied. Okay, and that's fair. All of the requested and not expressly granted is hereby denied. So any other relief, any injunctions, any other things that they may have asked for, well, they have monetary damages. Okay, so that's it. That's all you're getting. Everything else is dead. And this is the court's way of saying, nope, we're all done. Nobody can come back and claim that they want to get more out of Vic from this point. This judgment finally disposes of all parties and all claims and is appealable. So it's a final appealable order. Now, at this point, what can you appeal? Well, this is really pretty much all you can appeal is this order. And you can say, well, this order doesn't comply right, or it's wrong, or let's say the judge said the interest was like 85% per annum. Okay, well, you could say, like, that's not legal, and the court would have to say, yeah, you're right, that's not right, that has to get fixed. Or let's say the judge says, I'm awarding another $10,000 on the end. Well, that's not fair, that's not how this works. You could say, I owe all this amount right here, but this part right here doesn't count. That's the stuff you could appeal. Otherwise, that's it. That's it for Vic. This is over. This is the way it started. This is where it ends. And this is where it ends sometimes, sadly. Like somebody gets taken in the cleaners. So that's it. There's no more appeals. There's no more this, that, or another. It's done. Let's see. Jay Bet saying, according to Josh Moon, he's saying it was both Tiber did not treat it with the respect the case deserved, and the judge was hostile to Vic's side. Sure, the judge didn't seem to be very happy about dealing with the case, but there were so many the problems gave the judge the excuse to get rid of it. So there wasn't ever the issue of having to deal with the judge being an asshole. It was all unforced error. It's kind of one of those deals where you never leave in the hands of the ref. You never leave in the hands of a judge. You get all your stuff done, and then you win or lose on the merits. Scott X says, "Didn't you say he had a really disastrous deposition where Vic said a lot of things?" Yeah, there. I saw like a very little bit of it, but yes, it wasn't a very good deposition. There's some issues there, so there are some problems. But overall, the case got dismissed on procedural grounds because things were not the rules of compliance were not met with and adhered to. Absurd, crippling settlement amount. Yeah, but hey, that's the cost. You want to play big. You want to play big kid games. This is what it cost you. It is not cheap. If you want to be a gangster, this is everybody wants to be a gangster until it's time to do gangster shit. This is gangster shit. You go to war with people, you better be prepared. On the positive side, Funimation is shuttering its doors for good. They announced that today. So, it's a battle, and sometimes organizations and people fall in the field of battle. D for $2 said, "Still hilarious. Quickly how Ty privated." I'm not gonna. It just is what it is. I'm not gonna bag on him. He's a nice enough guy, so I'm not. It just didn't work, so he just didn't get it done. That happens. Winter Soldier says notarized over the phone. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I would get disciplined for that here in Ohio if I tried to say I did that. I'll say that much. There's no way in hell I would ever do that. I would be worried about getting a letter saying, "Hey, Sean, this is Supreme Court. Come down to Columbus. We'd like to talk to you." Chadwick is saying that's over 65K in interest per year. Yeah. Yep. 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 Yeah. So that's like I said, guys, there's some real cost to this shit. And that's why when, people come, I want to sue. Even if it's for something simple, stupid little things, you're looking at 20, 30 grand. Do you you're gonna take 20 or $30,000? Let's say you had the money right now, 20 or $30,000. You're gonna take it and put it in the middle of a table, and you're literally gonna light it on fire. That's what a lawsuit is. You're lighting money on fire, and then you're gonna shoot dice. After you burn the money, you're gonna shoot dice, and maybe you win and get your money back. Maybe you only get part of your money back. Maybe you break even. Maybe you get all your money back plus $1. Maybe you get all your money back plus a little bit more. Maybe you clean them out. But you have to light your money on fire first. $20,000, $30,000, even for a stupid little case. Think about what you can do with $20,000 or $30,000, even if you didn't need the money. If you had extra 20 grand laying around, you but you're gonna burn it in a lawsuit. That's